The death of Officer Bradway is being felt on the other side of the world right now, touching a relative who couldn't make it back for today's ceremonies.
Our TV6 reporter Rafael Sanchez joins us live from Crown Hill Cemetery with more on this very emotional story. Rafael?
Erica and Todd, good evening. Here at Crown Hill Cemetery, as you can see behind me, the staff at Crown Hill is making sure that the burial site for Officer Bradway is set and ready to go. Of course, the casket already down below. The vault has been put in place, but now the family wants to come out and mourn in peace without all the cameras and all the officers that were here. They can do so. They made it very special to put all the flowers around the gravesite again, just to make sure that the family can return. Then they'll put some sod. A temporary headstone is there now, and a permanent one will be added in a couple of weeks. We saw all those officers, hundreds of officers from Indiana and across the country. But one relative really wanted to be here, and he was hoping that internet service would be good enough so that he could watch the funeral hundreds of miles away in the country of Spain.
Rory Gentry is on a spiritual walk in Spain. The Westfield police lieutenant set off on a trip to rejuvenate mentally and spiritually. His faith was tested on day 4, when he found out that his niece's husband never returned home from work. That man was Rod Bradway, who was killed responding to a mother's screams for help during a domestic dispute in Indianapolis last week. From Spain, we spoke to Rory about Rod.
Rod was a great guy, and certainly the circumstance that I'm in, being so far away, it was a shock. Rod was a really good guy.
Along the trip, Rod's memory is not only on his heart, but also on his back. Everywhere Rory goes, he carries a makeshift memorial that reads, "In memory of Rod Bradway, September 20th, 2013. And the first person to notice it made him pause.
One of the very first people who saw it and asked me about it happened to be a retired police officer from Washington State. So we shared a long talk because he understood what it's like to lose both a family member and a fellow police officer.
On his hike, he knew he was not alone. When along the road, he came across this message. It was a moment.
And it was extremely emotional to come around the corner and see that marking of never alone in sticks and stones. Almost maybe Rod had intended me to see that on the way to the cross.
Below the cross, known as the Cruz de Ferro in Spain, tradition calls for people to leave their burden. Rory placed this marker in honor of Rod for the world to see, and then held a moment of silence in the shadow of the iron cross on the wooden pole.
I just wish peace to my whole family.
Unable to be in Indianapolis with his family on this day has been difficult. But he says through Facebook, he's with them every step of the way. In his heart, they are never alone.
I hope it's some way, knowing that he's being memorialized and remembered from so far away, maybe it'll bring some peace to them.
Lieutenant Gentry is hoping to be back home from Spain in a couple of weeks, but his message tonight for all his family members, you are not alone. Todd and Erica, back to you.
All right. A great story there.